Welcome to this month's EKU Then and Now. I'm EKU President Doug Whitlock, and our guest today is J.W. Spider Thurman, who graduated from EKU in 1941 and had a very distinguished career. During his undergraduate days, Spider brought fame and glory to Eastern through his exploits on the football field, winning All-American honors while quarterbacking Eastern's first undefeated football team in 1940. He was also a three-year choice on the All-Cumberland Valley Conference football and basketball teams and the All-District and All-Regional basketball squads. He came back to campus in 1961 to lead the Alumni Association through a period of dramatic growth, establishing alumni chapters around Kentucky and the Eastern United States, initiating a system of alumni scholarships, and increasing alumni involvement in the university in every respect. He served in this capacity for 20 years before retiring in 1981. Prior to returning to the campus, Mr. Thurman spent a brief time in private business, served as an officer in the U.S. Air Force, and in 1950 went to Clay County High School as a coach and teacher. At Clay County, he was head coach of basketball from 1949 to 1962 and was chosen Coach of the Year in the Kentucky Southeast Conference 4 times, while his Clay County team won 12 district titles and 6 regional championships. Spider, welcome.
Well, it's good to be here. Always good to be here.
Well, you know, it occurred to me as I went through that little introduction that you and I were sort of freshmen here together. You and your return in 1961, and of course the fall of 1961 was my freshman year. And you know, you and I have known each other for a long time, but we've never had the opportunity like we have this morning to sit and chat. And I've never thought to ask you previously, what caused you to come to Eastern from your native Benham as a freshman back in 1937?
Well, first of all, we had 2 Eastern graduates in my high school at Benham, and they talked about Eastern quite a bit and got me a little interested in Eastern. And they, in turn, I think, contacted the coach Rankin, who was a football coach here at Eastern, and he corresponded with me and said he'd be interested for me to come to Eastern. And I hadn't thought too much about that because I had been very lucky to be on some good high school football teams, undefeated teams, and was honored to have made the first team all-state high school team as a quarterback. And a lot of schools were interested in my athletic ability. And University of Kentucky put a lot of pressure on me to go to University of Kentucky. University of Tennessee had me on their campus, and Clemson University coach came down, took me down for a workout on them and offered me a scholarship. But I was very much interested in becoming a teacher and a coach for high school. My coaches and things, I almost worshiped them and all. And I thought that Eastern would be a good school, but so much publicity from Kentucky got me to change my mind, and the fans and all wanted me to go to Kentucky, and so I did. So I went off to University of Kentucky the 1st of September. The school didn't start till about the middle of September at Kentucky. We went for 2 years preseason practice. And I went through all the practices and all at that time. And in the registration up there, they had me in classes that I didn't think was suitable for a person who wanted to be a coach and a teacher. In fact, they had me signed up for an intermediate typing class, and I'd never had a typing class in my life. And one Friday evening, I was in that typing room, and everybody else was typing away, and here I was ping-ponging trying to find out. And the instructor took me on the shoulder and says, Mr. Thurman, put your feet flat on the floor. And so I was disturbed anyway, and so I just rolled up the paper in an old manual typewriter and put it in a waste paper basket and walked out of the room and went down the hall and the telephone there, and I called up Coach Rankin over at Eastern. And I said, Coach, I'm dissatisfied here at UK. I don't think it's the place for me. I said, if the scholarship that you offered me still holds, I'd be glad to come over to Eastern. And he says, well, Spider, he says, it'd be illegal for me to come over and get you. But if you could come over here, get on the bus, I'll meet you at the depot. And so I'll be there. And so I got on the bus, came over to Eastern, and he got me, and I enrolled at Eastern.
Well, you know, I hadn't heard that story before. I think I know Eastern was very fortunate that it played out that way. I assume you feel like that it's turned out to be a good decision for Spider Thurman.
It's the best decision I've made in my life, I think. Yeah. I would never been happy at any other place. Eastern was a home to me.
All right, now you got, when you said that Coach Rankin said Spider, that answers part of this next question, which is, how long have you been known as Spider, and how did that nickname originate? Well,
it's the wrong time of story. I got that in the 2nd grade. One morning I came to school with my eye all swollen up, and the teacher said, you better go see the doctor about that eye. And so I did. And the doctor said, well, there's nothing wrong with your eye. An insect or something has bit you and it's just swollen up there. I'll put a patch on it and it'll be all right in a few days. So with the patch on my eye, I went back to school, and the children, my friends asked me, what's the matter with you? And I said, a spider bit me. And for somehow, some way, that name stuck, and I've been called Spider ever since then. And in fact, a lot of people don't know me but any other name but Spider Thurman.
Yeah. You always see that JW, Spider Thurman. Now, I don't know how many people know what the JW stands for, but my recollection is it's James White. Is that right?
That's correct. White is a family name, or my mother's maiden name. Mm-hmm.
Of course, now Rome Rankin is one of the, one of the legendary names around Eastern and Eastern athletics. When people talk about Eastern athletics, Rome Rankin, Turkey Hughes, Paul McBrayer, and now Roy Kidd center into that conversation. What kind of man was Rome Rankin?
Rome Rankin, the story goes that Dr. Donovan, who was the president at that time, was down to Frankfurt, the legislature, asking for money for Eastern. And he said, one of the legislators asked, what kind of football team you got, President Donovan? He said, well, we got a pretty old. He said, well, I never hear anything about it. You're not winning any ball games and things. He says, I'd like to see Eastern have a good football team, but I don't see how we can appropriate money for a team that doesn't win. And Donovan came back and he says, if that's what it takes to do, I'm going to get me a coach in here and we're going to have some winning teams. And so Coach Rankin was coaching at Martins Ferry, Ohio, and had a good record up there, and he came here. He was about 35 or 40 years old when he came to Eastern. He was a single, unmarried, and he lived with a team. We stayed in the stadium, old Hangar Stadium, over there where the Meditation Chapel is located now. He lived with us. We had a training table. He ate breakfast, he ate lunch, he ate supper with us. He got us up a morning and he tended to us. He was a fatherly figure, and he was a real good gentleman along with it, and he inspired me quite a bit.